Good Tuesday night. Welcome to another edition of the Sideline Junkies. Tonight is the Tuesday night flight. KG, PC, Big Guy KG, Midnight Rider. We're your hosts tonight. Hope you guys had a good day. Getting ready for Hump Day. KG, talk to him.
Hump Day. Mike. Guess tomorrow is, Mike. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am back. I am here. I am live. Had to handle some things, but I am in here. Blue Roses, 26. Is that one of my kids? Hello. That's you? Why are you using your sister's name? That would be one of my children. Hello. She start waving out of nowhere. But hey, we are here Tuesday night flight. It's me, it's the big guy KG, as we heard, sitting there with the Midnight Rider. Should be joined by the man of the hour, Delonte, later or sometime during the show. The boss BJ, I believe, is out tonight. So Midnight Rider, first and foremost, how you feeling?
I'm doing good, man. Ready to get this show underway, man. We got to add a couple more of the graphics too, man.
Oh yeah,
we gotta have a production meeting.
Yeah, because the boss BJ done unlocked some things, so it's a few new wrinkles up in here.
You're not the screen where you put this on the side and lead a map up.
Well, I do, and since you said that, we need to get into this NFL Week 10 recap, and with that comes a lot of responsibility. So the aforementioned flip is right of that. And we're going to start this off with the Browns, the old Browns versus the new Browns. Make sure we got that up on the screen.
You got that up on the screen. You good?
There we go. The Ravens, that's so raving their way to a loss in this game, and it's heartbreaking because the Ravens were up 31-17 and they wound up losing this game 33-31. Midnight Rider, before I get into the stats, what are your thoughts on this game?
It's just the way the Ravens lose ball games. They've done this. This is their MO. That's where we came up with the That's So Raven. It's what they do. They get a lead. They try to sit on it. All of a sudden, the other team comes back. Something happens. I think this game we had the pick six. So it started with a crazy pick six to start the game with Kyle Hamilton batting the ball away and actually batting it to himself and just walking into the end zone to score the first 7. And then later on in the ball game, there's a tip pass and Cleveland intercepts it and takes it in for the touchdown. It's like sometimes it's amazing the type of luck they have in the fourth quarter. It's shocking, to be honest with you. But you wouldn't be in this position if you didn't close this out.
I agree. We're joined by the man of the hour, Power, too sweet to ever be sour. I don't know where he went. There you go. Delonte is joining us. We're talking about Browns, Ravens. Deshaun Watson. He had a lot of incompletions in this game, and I was like, man, what is he doing? So I sat there and I watched intently. His receivers let him down a lot. He was 20 of 34, 213 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Lamar Jackson, 13 of 23, 223, a touchdown, and 2 picks. Lamar Jackson led the Ravens in rushing, 8 carries, 41 yards. Ford led the Browns, 17 carries, 107. He ran very, very hard. Amari Cooper doing Amari Cooper thing, 6 catches, 98 yards, and Zay Flowers, 5 receptions, 73 yards. Delonte, if you there, any thoughts on this Ravens-Browns game?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? The Ravens, I mean, you know what I'm saying? They had the game, you know what I'm saying? But this was a game of they had it, but Cleveland, man, they wanted it more. So, You saw how it ended with that late interception. But the Ravens, man, they'll bounce back. They'll bounce back. They got a good squad. It's a Super Bowl contender, so they'll bounce back.
And Matt jumps in. Life is miserable here in Cleveland now. Live is miserable here in Cleveland now after that win. They may not lose another game for the rest of the year per most here. That's saying
Super
a lot.
Bowl, Super Browns, yeah.
That's saying a lot. I mean,
That's
that's
the thing.
really saying a lot.
Dude, Matt is right on point with that. They go from trying to complain about why they gave up Josh Dobbs for a 5th round pick. Why didn't they plan ahead better? Why are they playing PJ Walker? PJ Walker peels off a couple wins. They win this ball game. All I heard Monday, Super Bowl, Super Browns, yeah. Sorry, I just like doing that. If you can't tell,
I'm just gonna say this, and I'm being realistic, not hating. The Browns have not been a Super Bowl contender since '88, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, pretty much.
They lost. I mean, the Broncos, not only the Broncos, the Raiders, the Broncos, the goal line has been their detractor to the Super Bowl. Whether it was the drive 1, the drive 2, the fumble, Rocket Red 88, you shoot yourself in the foot every time. So, Paul says, I remember the first time I smoked pot too, Cleveland. It's the Great Space Coaster. Next up, the 49ers look like they're trying to arrive, but they have yet to. They beat the Jags 34-3. Before we get into the stats, once again, Midnight Rider.
I think the Jags just had one of those can't get right games. Like they just couldn't get anything done. They couldn't get anything going. And it just seemed like San Francisco, every time, like, even they tried to get a breath in, San Francisco was just keep hitting with body blows and body blows. And actually, I would like to say that it was actually nice for the first time all season to actually see Chase Young explode off the line of scrimmage into a pass rush. It was a beautiful thing. Now I've seen unicorns and I've seen Chase Young come out, explode out of his 3-point stance and attack the quarterback. Only thing I'm waiting on next is a Debra and Santa Claus.
Delonte?
Yeah, I agree with Midnight Rider, man. I think this is one of them games with Jacksonville. It was a downward slope from the get go, and it just never recovered. San Francisco, man, their defense is loaded. You know what I'm saying? They got a couple head cases on their defense, but it's loaded nonetheless. So 34-3. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I'm gonna say this. This is a typical 49er win. You have a bad stretch and then you come and I mean, this wasn't a tomato can, so I won't say that, but it's a typical 49er win. And the 49ers history has always been indicative of them battling adversity and coming back and winning big. It's like those Bill Walsh, George Seifert teams, only just without the postseason success. Let's say that. But this is a good team. I give them a lot of shit, but this is a good team. What? What? What was that? What, are you my censor? Was I not supposed to say that? I think I'm being censored over here. But Brock Purdy, 19 of 26, 296 and 3 TDs. Trevor Lawrence, 17 of 29, 185, 2 picks. McCaffrey, 16 carries, 95 yards. ATN, 9 carries, 35 yards. Kittle, 3 catches, 116. Christian Kirk, 6 catches, 104. Quick question before we go on to the next one. Do you guys really think the way Christian Kirk has been playing that he's worth the money that Jacksonville gave him?
No, sir. No, sir. I think Jackson. Let me tell you something. Jacksonville, they paid for the Arizona version of Christian Kirk. What they getting is the great value version of Christian Kirk, and we're actually talking about Christian Kirk. So, nah, he got paid. That's all I'm gonna say. He got paid. You know how they
Well,
go.
I think Jacksonville paid the Jacksonville tax.
Yeah.
They paid the tax that they weren't a good team. They have a quarterback. They lucked into making that smart move to get Ridley. But to be honest with you, Ridley has been real quiet lately. I got to double check stats, but I don't remember him having a big game the last couple of weeks. Maybe he's been hurt. But and Paul, if you listening, fill me in, give me the info. Um, but yeah, it's been something about him the whole season. Like he hasn't shown up since they came back from Europe.
V Williams checking in with a lot of love. To love all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love makes the world go round. The motto around these offices is ELE. Everybody love everybody. So, just like Jackie Moon said, everybody love everybody. Paul is here. He's checking in. He says, Jags were so flat from the jump, and in 3 losses, the offense could not get out of first gear. Purdy's first TD should have been a pick, but the wheels came off. He also says Kirk's stats are better than where he is where his pay rankings are. He is outperforming that contract, and Ridley is confirmed just a guy.
Straight from Duval.
Yep, our resident Jacksonville Jaguars insider, Paul Cordova. Next game, the Chargers take on the Lions. The Lions stay hot, 41-38 win. The Chargers just chargered and lost this game, Midnight Rider.
I'd like to welcome to the show my man Jahmyr Gibbs. My God, it took him forever to use him the right way, but he's been going the last couple of weeks, and Detroit's offensive line and everything. You know what? It makes me mad that I'm a Commanders fan to a certain extent because Campbell has been there for about 3 or 4 years. He's shaped that team. He's molded that team, and we don't have identity. But you watch Detroit play. Detroit is a physical team. They're going to pound you with their offensive line. They actually invested in their offensive line, which is a novel case. Not everybody does that. A lot of teams take 5 years to rebuild because it takes them that long to rebuild their offensive line. It's amazing when you see a team built and have an identity, and all of a sudden they play to that identity. And I think that's what you saw this weekend. Montgomery with the long run, Gibbs with 2 touchdowns. This Detroit just came out and just flat out just got out physical them. And then the Chargers with their explosiveness stuck around, but it's something. The Chargers got fired, Staley. I'm sorry. They're holding too much talent hostage right now. There's no way this team should be 4-5. It's just that no. Mm-mm.
Delonte?
I'm gonna say this. Detroit, man, they definitely got it honest. I know y'all remember they had a season where they didn't win a game at all. 0-16. Laughing stock, all that. But they built through the draft. And like Midnight Rider said, they invested in their offensive line. They invested in other certain aspects, so their team can be better. So, this is the product that you see today. Jared Goff, he was traded. I guess the Rams, they thought he was a has-been. Nah, you know what I'm saying? He's cooking on the low. He's doing his thing on, on the low. Well, I mean, they're notice now. You know what I'm saying? They 7-2. They got major props on ESPN First Take earlier. But this Lions team, man, they tough. We got to see them in a few weeks, and I'm scared for real. You know what I'm saying? And that game is gonna be in Detroit. The Chargers, I also agree. They way better than a 4-5 record. This is a reflective on bum ass coaching. You know what I'm saying? Staley, man, is just he ain't cutting it. He ain't cutting it. Like Justin Herbert, that dude, he's a top five, maybe top four QB in the league. Period. You know what I'm saying? It's just a slum village. You know, no pun intended. Product that we seeing with the Chargers. So I won't be surprised if they make a change at coaching. You know, at coach soon.
It's funny you say that, but you say slum village. Does that mean they're selfish? They want you to yourself and they can't help it?
Hey, you know what I'm saying? They're selfish enough to only have 4 wins. This team should be 7-2. They've lost some close ones.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you look at this schedule, you look at the way how some of the games went, especially down the stretch. This team should be 7-2, but instead they 4-5. This is coaching.
Agreed.
They're good on. They good. They're decent on both sides of the ball. So again, man, you know they Staley. I don't know how long he gonna last, but I don't think he gonna last too much longer.
And for those that didn't get the reference, the song is Selfish by Slum Village featuring Kanye West. It gave you the line from the polo fleece to the Jesus piece. I got people in high places like Jesus' niece. Can I please say my piece? If y'all fresh to death, then I'm deceased.
I knew that was coming.
Chills, baby.
I knew that was happening.
Chinchilla rap, chinchilla bars right there.
One of my favorites. Matt says Detroit is a fun and easy team to root for. I agree. And I get Detroit. I used to get Detroit a lot of shit because when I saw Detroit on Washington's schedule, I was like, that's a W. I can't even say that anymore.
You couldn't even say that after they had their winless season because they broke their streak on us.
Hey, we are the streak breakers. We do that. Paul says Brandon Staley also confirmed just a guy. I won't get into Brandon Staley and being a coach of the Chargers because everybody knows how I feel about that. So we don't have to go about it. That should have been still Anthony Lynn, but we're not gonna get into that. Don't do that. Paul also says Dan Campbell is another story. Once he started talking about biting kneecaps off, I knew I could play for Dan Campbell. Like, I mean, as much as I love Ron, if Dan Campbell called me right now and be like, hey, give me 15 snaps a game, don't do nothing but pin your ears back and rush the quarterback. All right. That's all you need? 15 snaps a game? That's it. All right. I'll take veteran minimum. Shit, I won't even take that. I'll take league minimum. Let's do it.
Man, you don't get your butt inside and be a 3 technique.
I can do that too. And Paul says, but DeMarco though. D'Amico Ryans. Oh my goodness. We gotta get to that too.
Only thing I gotta say is, and I'm done on the Detroit game. The HBO, what's the preseason show that they do?
Hard Knocks.
The bump is real. If you've watched the last year or two, you've seen more powder blue and silver in stadiums that you would never see it at before. They are actually starting to take over stadiums and travel well. I don't know how hard these fans are, but they are on. They got their boarding pass for the bandwagon, and everybody popped in their seats. So,
and I agree, and it seems like that's something new, man. But it's beautiful. I love it. Love to see him on the come up. And as alluded to just a few seconds ago, we were talking about D'Amico Ryans. He pulls out a win. I believe that was in Cincinnati. Texans beat the Bengals 30-27. Oh, shoot. I didn't get y'all no stats for the last game, so I do apologize for that. Midnight Rider, Texas Bengals.
First and foremost, Thanos sitting in for you. Nailed the Noah Brown, 7 receptions, 172 yards. I told you probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, it's something about this Texans team. and I've been saying it all the last couple of weeks. The last month, I've been a Texans fanatic, and I don't know what it is. They just have the right formula. It just doesn't. I think it's C.J. Stroud, to be honest. He's playing way better quarterback than I thought he was going to play. Their receivers are solid enough where they're overachieving. Noah Brown overachieving. Tank Dell overachieving. Nico Collins overachieving. So they're just got a bunch of guys that are in the right spot that are taking advantage of the opportunities they are given, and they're 5-4. I'm telling you, this team is going to be in the hunt towards the end for a playoff spot. The only thing that might hurt them is the fact that this AFC North has a bunch of teams that are going to be right in that mix as well. So that might be their only issue.
Delonte?
He's gone.
Okay, I think he working on something. Oh, he gone. Okay.
Yeah.
This was a game that I think I picked the Bengals to win this, not because of anything against the Texans, but I picked the Bengals because I thought the Bengals were on their resurgence. But 30-27, not a bad loss, but a loss is a loss. CJ Stroud, 23 of 39, 356, a touchdown and an interception. Joe Burrow, 27 of 40, 347, 2 TDs and 2 picks. Devin Singletary, 30 carries, 150 yards. This is 2 weeks ago. We would look like geniuses. Let's say that. Joe Mixon, 11 carries, 46 yards. As mentioned before, Noah Brown, 7 for 172. Jamar Chase, showing he's still around and he deserves that bag. 5 receptions, 124 and a touchdown. If not this season, I think next season the Texans will be back in the hunt. As one of the formidable top tier teams in the AFC. And I will say that, and I'll give them a lot of credit because they're just that damn good. And they're coached very well. You know, last year with Lovie Smith, Lovey's Lovey. You know, but Lovey wasn't he wasn't going to be the answer. He was the stopgap until they found their guy. And I hate that. But call a spade a spade. He was just a stopgap guy. He should have been the guy, but I'm not even mad that they hired D'Amico because D'Amico is taking his team to new heights.
Why are we loving Lovey?
What's wrong with
Why are we loving? Why are you loving Lovey? The right move was made because he was what you said. He was a stopgap.
Yeah, but you don't use a Lovie Smith as a stopgap. You use somebody else. That's what Bill O'Brien should have been. That's what Brandon Staley should have been. You know, these are stopgap guys. These guys can't. That's what Cliff Kingsbury is. Stopgap guy till you get who you want. Urban Meyer.
No, David Culley, the first stopgap guy, and then Lovie Smith, because they're both guys that they're not getting the other job. They're not getting any other job. They're on nobody else's list but the Houston Texans list the last 2 years. That's it. Ain't nobody calling them.
But hold on. If it came down to defense, and I'm jumping ahead, if it came down to defense, the coaching tree that Lovie Smith is on, when it comes to defense, I would love to have Lovie Smith coach my defense. At least I know I got inspired guys. I know I'm not running a 5-3 or a shell of this and a shell of now. We running Tampa 2, and we coming with that heat.
Let's get Delonte in because we're getting caught up in our mix.
Delonte,
So,
Texans versus Bengals.
First off, I was surprised at this final score. Well, actually, not the final score. The fact that the Texans won, but then, excuse me, I'm looking at the body of work so far this season, and you got to be impressed. C.J. Stroud, he's a game manager like already. You know what I'm saying? Their defense, they got some dogs on defense, some young dogs. Yet the Texans, I would top 10 next season. It's possible, but probably within for sure within a couple seasons, if this team stays together, yeah, they're gonna be good to go, man. They're gonna be good to go. And they can, stay clear of any like major injuries. They'll be set. The Bengals, um, I don't know, man. I was thinking about them earlier. If, do I see them making the playoffs? I'm not sure because that AFC North that's tough. Like everybody good in the AFC North. I only think no team have a losing record in the
Absolutely correct.
AFC North. Yep, yeah, yep. They all got winning records, so it's gonna be tough. But then again, the whole division can make the playoffs. It's possible. You know what I'm saying? But Cincinnati, I think now's the time they got to start stringing along some wins. They got to go on a nice little run because it's a lot of 5-4 teams. It's a lot of 4-5 teams. It's a lot of 5-5 teams. A lot of 6-3 teams. So it's just the playoff picture as it stands today is pretty jumbled. So if Cincinnati they want to separate themselves, man, they better start winning.
Well, Paul says David Culley was done wrong. I think he was done wrong. I also think Lovey was done wrong. We could do a whole show on people that was done wrong. I think Deshaun was done wrong. But hey, I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. That's all I am. I'm just a guy. Next up, this one is interest with Delonte. Bills go down to the Broncos 24-22 on Monday Night Football. Broncos country, let's ride. Delonte, you take that one first.
Cool. So first off, shout out to the Bills. Shout out to my man BJ, who's not on the show tonight. Definitely no trash talk. The Bills, even with a 5-5 record, is still a dangerous team. And I'm not just saying that. That's not propaganda. It's still a dangerous team. With that, what I watched last night was a game of I don't want to win. You know what I'm saying? We caused like what was it, four turnovers, but we wasn't really doing nothing, you know what I'm saying, until the end. When Russell when he had to kind of improvise, which I was happy to see him doing. Some of the them trick dump passes he was throwing and everything. I was good to see him kind of like reach back to his Seattle elements and kind of will us to that win. The 12 men on the field saga at the end of the game, that was scary because before then when Lutz missed that field goal, I was telling my colleague earlier, I had picked up a broom and I didn't know what I was going to do with that broom. It was definitely as a result of anger from him missing that field goal, but thanks for the 12 men on the field, we got another shot. We was able to win, so the broom and I don't know what I was going to hit, but everything was safe. As Let me wrap this up real quick. As far as my squad go, I don't think we're gonna. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think we're gonna make the playoffs, but I think this was a good building point for us. We beat the Chiefs a couple weeks ago, and then we beat Buffalo. So you know it's a good building point. And I definitely think we should hold on to Russ. Well, we can't afford to let him go anyway, so he'll be there next year. But shout out to the squad for the win.
I couldn't say
Midnight Ride.
it any better. I couldn't say it any better. It looked like a game that both teams wanted to lose. Neither wanted to win. Buffalo did all finally try to use their run game to get them going, to get them started up, and then Russ ran the ball. And I think that was the key to this whole setup was Russ running the ball instead of just dumping it off or whatever. Russ getting yards, becoming a weapon because that unlocks his offense. Russ is now like he's kind of descended from the top 10 or 12 to right around 15 to 16 because now he's a game manager. That's all he can really give you right now. And I partially, we kind of had a discussion earlier, Delonte, but I think part of the problem is Delonte. I'm sorry, not Delonte, but is Jerry Judy and Cortland Sutton. I feel like Sutton doesn't get enough separation to be a number one. And I feel like Judy doesn't catch the ball consistently enough to be a number one. And I think the tight end, what's the kid from UCLA? Is it Dolchich? Something like that.
Yep.
Is he hurt or is he playing right now?
He's hurt.
Okay. So that's the other guy that I thought was a weapon for y'all. So when I watch them play, I feel like at times they leave Russ out. Like they leave him, hang him out to dry. Like he's there. They just don't help him enough for him to be successful. And I could be wrong, but that's just the 2 times I've seen them. And for some reason, y'all don't want to get the kid Mims the ball on a consistent basis.
What? Oh, not to cut you off, but that is like one of my frustrations. Like, yo, this kid can flat out ball. Did you see what he did against Washington?
Right. Yeah.
Like what? Like, one-on-one cover. Like he was burning the cornerback. Are you serious? Now, granted, and my bad, not to cut in your segment. He
No, you good.
he do his thing with the returns, but we gotta get this kid some touches as a wide receiver. That's why we drafted him.
And then the 3-headed monster you guys rock with P-Ron, Javonte Williams, and the kid McLaughlin. That's another option where you're just getting explosiveness. Now, I want to see we're at week 10 right now. I want to see the stretch. I want to see the last 4 weeks of the season because I think by that time, Javonte Williams will be back into his flow that he had his rookie season. And I think he'll be a little bit more explosive as we go down the stretch. And all that's going to do is just help McLaughlin and P. Ryan out.
Few stats from the game. 24-29 was Russell Wilson, 193, 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen, 15 of 26, 77, a touchdown, 2 picks. James Cook, 12 carries, 109. Williams for Denver, 21 carries, 79 yards. Cortland Sutton led Denver in receiving yards and receptions, 8 receptions, 53 yards. Gabe Davis for the Bills, 2 receptions, 56 yards. And Matt asked the question, what's going on? Seriously, what is going on with Buffalo? Well, I think Buffalo addressed what was going on. Ken Dorsey was relieved of his duties, fired, if you will, a little earlier because of the ineptitude of this Buffalo offense the last few games. I think they've pretty much taken care of their problem for the time being. I mean, you got to work things in, and you got to work guys in and stuff like that. You got to get things going. But I think Ken Dorsey held this offense back an awful lot. And it kind of shows you that Dable was actually the glue that held this together. You cannot fall apart because there is no Brian Dable. Guys come and go all the time. You still got to go out there and you got to ball out. Trayvon Diggs is talking about you got to get 14 out there. Speaking of his brother, Stephon, you got to get him out of there. Hey, Buffalo got to hold their other receivers accountable. They got a lot to work on. And they got to get it done ASAP. Not just to save their season, because they're sitting at 5-5 right now. There's no way Buffalo should be 5-5 after 10 weeks. Buffalo should be at the least 7-3. But
Agreed.
You're 5-5.
Agreed. No, I mean, I said this earlier. I think first is Josh Allen decision making, but I think second is what is Ken Dorsey like? What are the situations Ken Dorsey is putting Josh Allen in to be successful? And then the third thing for me personally, I remember the clip from last year when Dorsey was in the coach's booth and he destroys the keyboard or whatever he destroys. He throws a temper tantrum in that office. And in my head, that stuck out to me. It's okay to go off, but that was a little extra. And I feel like maybe that attitude or maybe that kind of reaction to stuff, it may have worn thin in the locker room. And that's where you have some of the disconnect that you guys are talking about. I'm not saying that's what happened. Midnight Rider's not reporting anything. All I'm saying is that's one of my theories I'm working off of. Is maybe his act got a little too old, and maybe the guys don't want to listen to you if you're not in right control, or if you're just doing stuff just to be doing stuff. Like they'll start tuning you out, and maybe that's the case. So I'm glad that Buffalo did this sooner than later. I think Doc Walker had a line today. He says never too soon to take the trash out. It's never too soon to take the trash out.
I like that. We'll see how Buffalo responds to this, because damn sure will keep an eye on it. But let's bring it.
This is McDermott's job right here.
Yeah,
there's no other way to say it. McDermott is either gone if they don't make the playoffs, or he's still there because they're making a run.
Kind of sort of like the situation we have here in DC. The Washington Commanders drop a heartbreaker and drop the 4-6 to the Seattle Seahawks 29-26. Midnight Rider, I'll let you have it first.
This speaks to what I talked about earlier in this thing when I was asking questions about Eric Bieniemy. I think the guy has this kid playing great ball, but I've always talked about the valleys. All season long, I keep talking about we keep getting in these valleys where we don't run offense, we don't play well. And there was a stretch about 5 or 6 drives where you didn't really move the football. And I think that's the part of this game that EB has to fix. He has to go to the run game a little bit sooner. I know KG always talks about having 15 to 20 attempts for BJ. I'm not BJ, but Brian Robinson. I don't know if that's the number. I don't know what it is. I am happy to see that they are throwing to the backs more the last 3 weeks. And Brian Robinson had a killer game receiving. I think he had 6 catches for like 140 yards, something like that. 119. All right. So, and then Gibson had a receiving touchdown as well. So they're moving the football. The problem is this defense can't stop anybody. It's like this defense is the equivalent of you taking a Band-Aid and putting on a gunshot wound.
Been there before. That's all I'm gonna say is been there. Go ahead. When I get my chance, I'll go.
It's to you or Delonte. I'm good.
Delonte?
So yeah, the Commanders they definitely could have won that game. Well played. I just think that Seattle they just made bigger plays down the stretch to win. Y'all receiving corps. I like y'all receiving corps. Y'all got some shifty receivers, man. And then Sam Howell. I think Sam Howell he's gonna be gooder than good in like maybe another 2 seasons. We just got to keep in mind. I understand it's frustrating, but he's young. You know what I'm saying? So he's still learning. But yeah, man, I think actually y'all whole team, the Commanders, y'all be good to go in another couple seasons, man. Well, better. I mean, say even better. Like, you guys are good now, in my opinion, but you're gonna be even better in a couple seasons.
Let me say this, and being absolutely 100% honest from the bottom of my heart. Anybody in this fan base that believes that the quarterback is the problem, I need you to get you a revolver, preferably a 38 snub nose, loaded all the way around. Put it inside your mouth and pull the trigger. Kill yourself. Because the
sideline junkies do not condone violence in any way, shape, or form.
No, we don't.
I take that back. If you feel that the quarterback is the problem, then the problem is you. I gotta look. She's in the dark, and I can still see her smoldering pretty eye. God, girl, you are so fucking beautiful.
Clean it up. Get Delonte's room and clean it up.
Yeah, no, but much. It's still intact.
All jokes aside, if you think the quarterback's the problem is you. Sam Howell, 29 of 44, 312, and 3 touchdowns. I don't know how he could have played a better game. Brian Robinson, like we said before, 6 catches, 119. He only had 8 carries for 38 yards. That's where the game could have got better at. Because you could have ran, you had time, you could have ate some clock up and ran that ball. You know, you could have done something. Geno Smith, 31 of 47, 369, and 2 touchdowns. Walker, 19 carries, 63 yards. DK Metcalf, 7 catches, 98 yards. Washington has to make a move. I thought that they would have made this move 2 weeks ago, but Jack Del Rio has to go. He has to be the first one gone. Because I said something earlier in the Sideline Junkies group, and the Midnight Rider didn't agree with me. It was a list of players that were inherited by JDR when he got here. And out of all of those players, I think only 2 are here. And he said, you know, under talent, but I'm like, you have to cultivate talent. Some guys are scheme guys. Some guys are just talented all the way around the board. But they played their best ball here.
No, man. I can't hit this
You don't
argument
want
today.
to. I'm not trying to argue.
No. Because I know what you're saying. And you know what? I will give you Ionitis. I will give you that one. Because he was a fit for what they were doing. I don't know if he was a fit. He's obviously not a fit for Ron because they got rid of him and they didn't want to pay him.
They let him walk. That's what they did. They let him walk. They felt his price tag was too high for that next contract, but he was willing to negotiate.
So I'll acquiesce on that. But some of them other names on that list, no.
We never got to see what Reuben Foster could do.
He didn't have a need. You can't see what he has.
You had
to a shot.
But it's he's playing ball though.
He just started like last year. I think he's in like the USFL or the XFL.
But you had to give him a chance to get back. You never gave him a chance. After 2 years, you was like, yeah, well, all right, forget it. You're not gonna play no more. Bye. You didn't give him a chance to work himself back.
He had a devastating knee injury, KG. It's
so
not
okay.
This isn't like you can't just sit on him and wait for him.
I understand that, but still, bro, you can't give up on talent when you don't even know you know what you got, but you don't know what you got. You see what I'm saying?
You do know what you got. You got to do with a bad leg.
Yeah. If that's the case, maybe not the same thing. But Washington took a chance on a dude that had 2 torn ACLs, and he still came here and was a 1,000-yard rusher.
What?
They took a chance on Terry Allen, 2 torn ACLs.
Dude, there's a difference. This dude tore his knee up.
Modern medicine has changed.
But modern medicine,
Put a pin in it, because we can argue about this all night.
Because you made me argue that in Gin Pop. I wasn't supposed to do that to you.
Did you call it Gin Pop? And I was waiting for content. No, that wasn't content. That was just me pointing out something. But I think Jack Del Rio has to go. I think he has to go because the defense lost this game. When it came down to it, let me rephrase that. The defense and the referees cost Washington this game.
I'll stick with the first part of that. The defense.
No, I say the referees because now answer me this. Was that hit by Forbes early in the game? Was that targeting? Was that ejectable?
You're talking to a kid of a ref, so I have limits when I talk about them affecting the ball game. So that's not a fair conversation for us.
Okay. That wasn't an ejectable offense in my mind. And a lot of other, at 15 yards, I'll give you that. But ejectable, no.
I agree with that.
The pass interference on the last drive, I think it was 3rd and 5 or something like that. It was 3rd and long. They were going to punt after that. It was an uncatchable ball you call pass interference. Why are you calling pass interference? That was not a catchable ball. I thought on catchable balls, you didn't call pass interference. You should have picked the flag up, put it back in your pocket. Washington walks out of there with a win. They handed Seattle this damn game.
Maybe. I don't think they would because you still had to play defense.
Well, you still had to play offense to get back because I think it was 26-26.
Yeah.
Washington came back. But the thing is, this is like a fight where Washington was getting pummeled against the ropes, and they kind of leaned back with the rope and dope, caught their breath, and just started coming back and started firing shots off. And then it's like the referee kind of interjected and was like, look, you don't defend yourself, it's over. And they kept punching back. That's one thing I can say. They did not give up. They kept punching back. But the defense just did not stand tall, did not respond. When we have games like this, I don't want to hear anything from Jonathan Allen. I don't want to hear anything from anybody on the defense. When you do an interview, we didn't get the job done. We got to try again next week. I don't want to hear no, oh, well, if it was this and this, I don't want to hear none of that. Don't give me no diatribe. Don't give me no anecdotes. Don't give me none of that. You didn't do your job. Bottom line. That's it. That's all. There's nothing else that needs to be said. Move on. It's in the can.
We got
Okay.
We got to let Delonte talk.
Delonte went already. I was last. Yes.
He already went.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna be sure because I got caught in that little exchange. My bad.
Nah, you're good.
But moving right along. Washington loses this game, dropped to 4-6.
You said something earlier. This is what I wanted to address.
What's that?
Look, sit back in your chair. If you got a rocker, sit in your rocker. Give them until Black Friday. Okay? I know everybody wants Jack Del Rio gone sooner than later, but just wait until Black Friday and see what happens. Because I have a feeling that if this team doesn't perform well on Thursday, Thanksgiving at 4:30, I'm talking about if this defense gets obliterated for 400 yards and they stay with their average totals right now, he's gone. And they'll figure out the rest. They'll let Steve Russ or the DB coach, they'll let somebody else call plays and they'll just figure it out down the stretch. But that's the one breaking point. The other breaking point is the bye week.
Okay. Well, now we're going to go rapid fire. This is not going to be a long segment, this next segment, but it has to be talked about. Dang, where did I go? Banners. This is what I like to call the Harden experiment. James Harden traded to the Clippers. 5 games. They've lost all 5 games. Here's a graphic of Harden's stats for 5 games with the Clippers. 13 points, 5 rebounds. I'm sorry. Yeah, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 47 points shooting. Gentlemen, I mean, it was I guess you call it a successful transplant, but the patient died.
No, it's 5 games.
But they can't gel,
82 game season. This isn't the NFL. Like we're reacting to 5 games like it's week, like it's the first 5 weeks of the season. Like you got to give this time. I have personally a theory that a team needs at least 20 games to gel before anything happens. I got to give you at least 20 games. And the reason is because basketball is one of those sports that is the most, what's the word? It's the most dependent on team chemistry. I'm going to say it again. Basketball is the most dependent on team chemistry because you got 12 guys and only 5 goes on the court. And most teams only play 8 for the most part. That's the end of your rotation. So that relationship between those 8 guys got to be the most important thing to your lineup. And the problem is they got 4 guys that are all basketball dependent. They have to create their own. So you don't have anybody that plays off the basketball well. So that's going to be a learning curve. You can't give this 5 games. This is literally going to take 20. I even think it might take 30 before they figure it out. And this might be one of those teams that they're going to have to figure this. So they're going to have to figure this out towards the end of the season so they can get like in the play-in game or in the lower part of the seeding for the Western playoffs. But they
Delonte?
can't be scared to pull the trigger on a deal to get rid of somebody either.
It's gonna be Russ. It's always Russ.
Yeah, I agree. I think Russ he might he might be the fall guy in the situation, although he's playing decent. He actually been playing decent since he got to LA, well, the Clippers. Harden, man, I think this is his this might be his last team before he gets the John Wall treatment. Um, and that's sad. That's a sad story within itself. Because John Wall, he should still be in the league. He should definitely still be in the league. But Harden, I think it's a lot of drama that these teams aren't putting up with. Um, Ask about Kevin Porter. You know what I'm saying? See where he's at. See where he will never be at again. But Harden, man, he just play your game, man. Play your game. Yeah, y'all off to a bad start. Y'all 0-5. Y'all got a team full of LA guys with him, Paul, PG, Kawhi, and Russ. But man, you know what I'm saying? Just I agree with the Midnight Rider to a great extent. It definitely takes more than a 5 game sample to you know develop a chemistry. Like it's you're gonna need a decent 20. You might need a decent 24.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying, Harden, man, he just get back to who you know what I'm saying, who you were, man. If you claim to be the system and not a system player, show us that. You know what I'm saying? Show us that. You know what I'm saying? Just stop. Just play your game, man. Just play your game. I don't want him to end up like John Wall. I don't want him to end up like Iverson. You know what I'm saying? And you all saw how they did AI. You know what I'm saying? They gave him it wasn't even a boat. I think it was like a paddle boat. You know what I'm saying? As a retirement gift. Like you know what I'm saying? So just play your game, Harden. That's all I can say, man.
Some call Harden the best scorer of this generation. I don't believe so. My opinion. Some call him the greatest. I heard somebody call him the greatest scorer ever, and I was like, no, that would be one Wilt Chamberlain. But that's just my opinion as a basketball purist. Harden has a game that seems like with the rule changes, it hasn't adapted. ISO and that step back and all of that, and people are reading that. People watch tape now. He gonna have to pull some more tricks out the bag. If you want this LA experiment to work, you got to pull some tricks out the bag. You got to do something. But this ain't it. So, hell, if you want, really work. If you take Harden and send Harden to Chicago for Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine will fit out there in LA. Harden fit in Chicago. Him and DeRozan together. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I like that. Please do it. Yes.
The thoughts that were brought to you just now are those of a delusional Chicago Bulls fan. They do not reflect the thoughts of the sideline junkies.
Oh man, let's get through this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the week. Once again, it's Tuesday. So every Tuesday, he called a timeout. He called a timeout. Is it a full?
All right, let's go. Let's go. We're ready.
Okay. Every Tuesday, the Midnight Rider brings to you his special segment called The List.
You just made the list. This week, we're going to start off basically at a nursing home because I don't know how this guy's still in college, but he plays for the University of Oregon. I've been very reluctant to put him on the list because I just don't see how it translates to the next level. But I did say one thing. I'm going to be true to the college experience. So at number 5, from the University of Oregon. Bo Nix, you just made the list. At number 4, he's been hard fast in the top 3, but he just keeps falling. Maybe it's the fault of his teammates. Maybe it's just because that line isn't that good. I don't know. So Shedeur Sanders from Colorado, you just made the list at number 3. He was last week's number 2. This week he's number 3. I mean, hold on. I can give you a hint. Oh, that's right. The young man Jordan Travis from Florida State. You just made the list at number 2. Here he is. It's the fall guy. It's the stunt dummy. It's the guy that I don't understand how he's still healthy because he runs into every big hit in college football. But we're going to go down to the bayou, get up one of them bowl on there. We're going to get us Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels, you have made the list at number 1. Well, you know what it is. You know who it is. It's the man. It's the myth. It's the legend. Unfortunately, he couldn't stay healthy at Indiana. He's another guy I'll be concerned about when it comes to the pros. KG, what does he give off?
Big Penix energy.
That's right, Michael Penix Jr., baby. Here it is, University of Washington's own. So, a quick rundown of the list. You know, I always do a list from the top to the bottom. At number 1, Michael Penix Jr., Washington. At number 2, we got Jaden Daniels from LSU. At number 3, Jordan Travis, Florida State. Number 4, Shedeur Sanders, Colorado. And at number 5, we got Bo Nix. And that's because I guess Bo knows. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is another edition of You Just Made the List.
Thank you for that, Midnight Rider. As usual, rousing, very informative. I was surprised that Shedeur Sanders had fell, but we can't control that. So we can't control that. And I do think it's the fault of the offensive line, but yeah,
there it is.
Well, we come to that part of the show where we got to wrap that shit up, B. I got one thing, and then I got to pass over to the Midnight Rider, and then if Delonte has something, we go with that. My one thing is, I posted this in the Sideline Junkies group. I shared it. Ryan Tannehill said, I'm going to be here to answer any questions he may have and help him out along the way. That's what he said about Will Levis. F you, Ryan Tannehill. Because when it was Malik Willis, I ain't helping him. It's not my job to help him. And it gave off.
I know what vibes you thinking. Vibes you thinking, but I'm going to stop you. I think this is more about his mortality.
That's what some people say. I was reading the comments on the original post. Some people say, he sees the clock ticking. Dog, your clock been ticking for the last 4 years.
No. He sees the clock ticking, but he actually sees, and this is where you can get mad at me, KG. But he actually sees somebody that's better than him. So that's why he's willing to. That's why he's willing to help Will Levis. Hold on, let me finish. That's why he's willing to help Will Levis, because Will Levis is actually good, and Malik Willis ain't.
Here's the thing: because Malik Willis is not good, it don't matter, bro. I know you're not beating me out for this. I'm gonna have you under my wing. I'm gonna teach you how to be a pro. I'm gonna teach you everything. You know how many jobs I had where I had to train people that weren't as good as me? And I told them everything they needed to know, how to do it the correct way. I encouraged them every which way. You know how many times I had to train people to take over the job that I was qualified for, that I got passed over for? And I had to train them how to do their job? How many times I had to do that with a smile on my face? Bruh, it's not about that. It's about making the team better. Because if we all good, we all win. Because a Super Bowl championship does not happen. If it did happen, one person does not get a ring. Everybody gets a ring. Everybody upstairs, the water boy, the practice squad, the ladies in the office, everybody gets a ring. That's our goal.
But if you remember correctly, Brian Mitchell used to always say this on the radio. He was like, it takes 2 or 3 practices for us to know. And I'm just going to tell you, KG, I think those 2 or 3 practices with Malik Willis, they felt and they knew that he had no chance.
No chance in hell.
And that's why you when you Tannehill, you like, nah, I ain't got to show him a whole bunch because he's not good enough to be he's not better than me. When you see Will Levis throw the football, it is a totally different experience.
Agreed.
When he threw that, and I knew that at his, and if you go back to the tapes of us in the pre-draft process, I told you this kid's arm was special. I don't know what kind of mind he has, but his arm is special. So yeah, that's where I think that comes in.
Okay.
Go to Delonte, because I got 2 things.
All right, Delonte, you got any final thoughts? Anything you want to get off your chest?
A good win for Broncos country. The Commanders, they'll definitely bounce back. That's about it, man. Yep, that's about it.
All right,
Midnight
so one today, if you guys were paying attention, the Nats had to make 3 moves. They cut or released Abbott, Dominic Smith, and Andres Machado because they had to put 3 players on their 40-man roster. So in baseball, basically your 40-man roster is the roster that's protected. If there are guys under certain that aren't protected by what's called for the Rule 5 draft, you can potentially lose those players because the team can just pick them off your lineup. It's almost like baseball's version of the supplemental draft. The only difference is when you pick a player in this Rule 5 draft, that player has to stay on your main roster for the whole season, or they have to be injured. So that's the only thing you got to worry about with that. For people that do know names, Victor Robles did get his arbitration picked up, so he's signed for another year. Don't read too much into that. He's on the thinnest of ice that there could be. So don't get too caught up in that. And I'm telling you right now, if they have to protect somebody else for this Rule 5 draft, he may be one of the first ones to go. So don't worry about that. Number 2, I know we talk about it. I talk about it jokingly, but the in-season tournament. Tonight we got OKC against San Antonio, Wemby versus Chet. The floor is done up. We got the pretty floor with the NBA Cup in the middle of the floor, the NBA Cup as the lanes and the free throw lines. I got to give basketball credit. At least they're trying. They're trying to promote this. Every commercial break, you see the in-season tournament logo. On the Sideline Junkies page, I post the standings every week, but I'm posting it just because it's something that we got to start paying attention to. And I know this isn't something for us. I say this every time I talk about it. This ain't our tournament. This is the generation below us tournament. So, but we got to be good caretakers of the game and have responsibility and at least watch it to see if anything comes out of it. Because all you're doing is watching the games you would normally watch. The only difference is we got some ramifications on it. And I was going to make a joke earlier because Steph Curry's not playing tonight. And I was like, dang, Steph can't play in the in-season tournament game. But I pumped the brakes. I stopped myself because I didn't want to sound like a jerk or be a jerk.
Being a jerk is fine. So.
All
right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we are at the end of the line of the train. Be back Thursday. Quick show before Thursday night football. Man, it's been a whirlwind week in the NFL, NBA. So enjoy the in-season tournament. Enjoy the NBA. Enjoy the sports that's on TV right now. So for the man of the hour, Delonte, for the Midnight Rider, Ben, I'm the big guy, KG. Y'all know the motto, baby. We don't do no overtime. We are out of here.